First of all, I would like to take this opportunity say thank you so much to the families of the bride and groom for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful ceremony. And I have been to a lot of wedding ceremonies in my lifetime, and I look forward to come to this particular one this evening because, as many of you who know me very well over the many years, that I have a very high respect for Indian culture. I have a very strong conviction in my heart and a strong belief in this long history of culture, and I have also made a very serious and deep study about the Hindu culture. I think many of you who are here and who know me that I have been to India many times, and I was responsible on behalf of the Royal Thai government that inaugurated the free trade agreement between our two countries 6 years ago. But being a part of this beautiful ceremony, I use the word beautiful again because it is truly beautiful. Beautiful not only the attire or the dress, but the tradition and the culture that have been carried on over many hundred and thousand years. And the most fascinating part, to me, that was quite fascinating when the bride was trying to give garland to the groom. And the groom would try to make it more difficult. And even were the parents of the bride, I would have taken my daughter home. That if you play so difficult to catch, good for you, bye-bye. No, it's just the way that we don't have this kind of a culture or tradition in the Thai community in Thailand. As I said, I've been to many wedding ceremonies, but I really look forward. When Mr. Tiwari and Mr. Deepak came to my office last week, invited me to be a part of this ceremony this evening, I was thrilled. And I was very honored that I would be accepted here as a guest to come and observe this very sacred ritual here. And I was very impressed the way that the friends or the relatives you included to give the chair to the bride so that she could reach. I would not have given her any chair. And anyway, I just want to say that myself, I've been married for 39 years. And every time I get invited to go to speak, to say something to at the wedding ceremony to the bride and the groom, I would, instead of wishing them happiness, instead of saying so many nice words, I normally do not do that. Them sitting up here on the stage, looking at all of our friends, relatives, and so many people that we respect, having spared the time to be here this evening, to be witness to this ceremony, I would usually ask the bride and the groom to keep what they perceive today in their memory, and don't ever disappoint these people who are sitting here right now in the honor of your being the same from now on. I believe that is important. That is the most important aspect of a boy and a girl having decided to be the same family. In other words, a little stronger words of remark, which I would normally give to the bride and the groom, is if you were to establish in your heart mutually, and you would pledge to yourself. You don't even have to pledge to your husband, you don't even have to pledge to your wife. But you must pledge to yourself respectively that in this lifetime, today, this is the only wedding ceremony that I will go through. Never again. This is the only one for you that I'll have. If either of you could adhere to this pledge, it will be a good start that will sustain the happy married life. Because this strong determination will always remind you that you must bear with each other. You must be patient. Before you're going to speak anything, before you say anything, before you do anything, you must think. You must use your conscience to tell you, to ask yourself, if I were to go ahead and say the following words, if I were to go ahead and do the following things, will that hurt the feeling of my wife? Will that hurt the feeling of my husband? If you have these reminders constantly in your conscience, with the platform of the earlier pledge to yourself, that in this lifetime I will not be married again, ever. And you said that the bride will say to the groom, Richa will say to Amit, this pledge is for you, my husband. And Amit will say, Richa, this pledge is for you, my wife. This is the only wedding I will go through in this lifetime. I believe that if your love and your devotion to each other mean anything to you, you will not hesitate to make that pledge. And this, I believe, it's much more meaningful than all those sweet words. They will be meaningless unless these two persons sitting up here behind me are fully convicted that this life from now on will be only you in my lifetime. And that is what I believe I would like to say this as a message, which is the true meaning of the wedding. Happiness ever after from now on. Another coincidence. I was just informed that both the bride and the groom, at one time, I made my homework. The bride went to school at Brandeis, and the groom is now in Boston, going through his master program at the MIT. Both of them at one time have spent their school years in Massachusetts, and so did I. I spent all of my school times in Massachusetts. I have two sons. Both of my two sons spent all of their time, the undergrad and the master programs, all in Massachusetts. So, what else can I say? Small world, isn't it? And I understand that they met in Austin, Texas. Is that right? And the groom, once upon a time, not long ago, was a student at Rom Rudy, right? At the school in Bangkok, somewhere? Or you went to Rom Rudy? See? Small world. Went to Rom Rudy and Boston, and they met in Austin, Texas. And the wedding ceremony is in Bangkok. And I think she will go back to her PhD program, you will go back to Boston. That is not the best way to spend honeymoon. But anyway, be happy, be convicted, and don't ever forget the pledge which I have made a suggestion to.